thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you so much for being here. And on behalf of all of us in IWC, I'm so happy to see that you guys have joined us here tonight for our kickoff into 2010. And before we do get underway here, you guys might be wondering, why in the world would the owner be wearing a tuxedo and still being a ring announcer? I'm going to tell you that in a few minutes, but there's just a couple things I want you guys to know. And that is, okay, you can cut the music. Thank you. And that is this. I really never set out to own this company. That was never an intention of mine, not something that I ever wanted to do. In fact, I know I got some family members here, and if you talk to my sisters in attendance here, they'll tell you all I ever wanted to do was be an announcer. That's all I ever wanted to do in wrestling. In fact, went to college to do that. Robert Morris College back, and started in 1995, and that's where I got my degree in communications, etc., etc. And it was also where I got my start in professional wrestling as a ring announcer. And it's something that I've loved so much. And I had the opportunity back in 2002 to join this company. And when I joined this company, and I think for all of you that have been with us, something's a little bit different about coming to an IWC show. And that is, there's just a different atmosphere here. And I've worked for a lot, because there are a lot of great organizations here in Pittsburgh. There really are, with tremendous athletes that work for multiple organizations. However, I just know when I came into an IWC event, you were stressed, you know, because this is like a pay-per-view. And if you ask all the athletes in the back, they're going to tell you the same thing. So when the opportunity presented itself, when you know, our previous owner decided that he wanted to sail off into the sunset, and said, "What do you think?" And I said, "You know what? I'm 32 years old, and as long as my girlfriend says okay, I'll give this a shot." Okay? I did. You can ask her. I hope she's out here somewhere. So Dana said it was okay, so I said it would be okay, and I didn't intend for it to be announced like that. I wanted to tell you here today that for those of you that joined us last month in the court time, what we did last month was important for you fans. And if you watched what Jimmy DeMarco tried to do by me again earlier this past week now with 2 dirt bikes, he likes to call them motorcycles. The point is I did what was right for you fans, okay? I'm not out here for me. I like being a ring announcer. I'm trying to keep this company going for you, because that's what it's about. Every one of those guys in the back are out here for you. In fact, last month was great. I loved it. I had a wonderful time. But I felt a little bit that last month wasn't enough about the guys that come out here each and every month. The guys that you see, the guys that you know that come out here each and every month and put their butts on the line to entertain each and every one of you. So my promise was show 1 was going to be about them. And that's what I wanted to make kickoff here tonight. And if you look at the card, there's not a lot of gaga. There's talent, there's athleticism, there's competition, there's desire, there's everything that you guys and guys like you can pay tickets and season tickets to come see IWC. Now, and I promise I won't keep this too much longer, but I got to tell you a couple things. Over the past couple months, there's been a lot of deals that I've had to make. And some of you out there have emailed me to some of these deals and said, "Chuck, how could you make that match? Are you kidding? How could you possibly make that match?" Well, I gotta let you guys know something right now. One of the matches that you're gonna see here tonight is going to pit 2 men inside this ring that will vie for the IWC Championship in a #1 contenders match. I'm talking about John Bolen and J-Rocc. People have been emailing me, "Chuck, how in the world could J-Rocc deserve a #1 contender spot?" Well, you know, despite popular thought, J-Rocc is one hell of an athlete. He's been across this country, he comes from Cleveland, he puts his butt on the line, and no matter what we think, J-Rocc can get it done inside this ring. Now, that said, J-Rocc hasn't done a whole lot in recent history to perhaps prove that he deserves a #1 contender spot, but in November I made a promise, and the promise was to John Bolen. And I said to John Bolen inside this ring, "If you keep the peace with Rowe and Shane Taylor, I'll make it up to you." So I decided to give John Bolen a #1 contenders match, but you know what? Here's the deal. I didn't want to give him a shot right to the title because he's got to earn it. However, wouldn't you and I both love to see John Bolen earn that shot in this ring by beating up J-Rocc from one end of this ring to the next? I thought, you know, John, I can't give it to you. You got to earn it, but you're going to earn it going to be fun to watch, isn't it? It will be. The next biggest decision I made impacts here tonight, starting now. Folks, I'm the business. That's what I want to do. I want to own this company. I want to operate it. But the wrestling operations, I feel are best to be held and dealt with by somebody else. Somebody that has been in this industry a long time. Somebody that has maybe a little bit better grasp of what's right, what's wrong, deals to make deals you shouldn't make. So I went to a guy that told me a couple years ago when I first met him, when he complimented me on my ring announcing, and then I talked to him at last show, and he said, call me if you want me. I made the call. He said yes. He starts here tonight, first day on the job. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you the new Director of Wrestling Operations for IWC, the franchise, Shane Taylor.
The new era of IWC kicks off with a major announcement. Joe Dombrowski ringside with J-Rocc and Farnsworth as the franchise Shane Douglas now finds himself in a position of power in IWC, the Director of Wrestling Operations. And J-Rocc, somebody as controversial, as outspoken and opinionated as the franchise has been throughout his 25-year career, we could be in for a very, very bumpy ride.
Shane Douglas has no problem telling someone when there's a mistake, when there's some chink in the armor, when there's something wrong in the supply line. He's going to keep things straight as an arrow.
You fans have watched me for a long time, and you know I like to put my stamp on things. Chuck, you know I told you when I said yes to the job. I plan on doing the same thing in IWC. Now you fans have seen a lot of great wrestling right here in this ring, right here in this building. You fans know great wrestling when you see it.
That's right.
Well, I plan on continuing that tradition. But you see, I've got a little itch in my stomach. I've been watching this crap on television from the quote-unquote big two. And quite frankly, I think it's trash. That's why I said yes to Chuck. That's why I said yes to IWC. And that's why I said yes to coming here tonight. He didn't announce it, but I will be the special guest referee in tonight's main event. Shiima Xion against Jimmy DeMarco. And you can damn well bet with yours truly in the ring, there'll be no funny business going on. But the other thing is, I want to make a few special changes to that match. I got a little extreme soft spot in my belly. I want to make the main event tonight, if you fans agree, a main event with extreme rules. What do you fans say? A main event with extreme rules.
Wait a second.
If the dogs are barking, that can only mean one man.
We have an extreme interruption from the man who for many years was one of the top rivals of the franchise, Shane Douglas, here in IWC, and indeed also the man who founded IWC back in 2001, Bubba the Bulldog, D94 morning show personality. Haven't seen him in a lot of months.
Stop the music. Time out. It's real simple. Every person in this seat here tonight that paid a ticket knows one thing, Chuck Roberts. That I, Bubba the Bulldog, am the true owner of the International Wrestling Cartel. It's a tragedy that the man that created this organization wasn't invited to the biggest show in its history last month. And it's a bunch of crap. I'm going to make it real simple to you, Chuck. I know you own the business, but I got an attorney with a lot of papers that say that's full of crap. It's I that own the business. It's simple. I'll work with you if you want, and we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. Because you have to understand this, Chuck Roberts. When I built IWC Shane Douglas. I've always been a man of my word. And when I was in this ring, and I poured my heart out to you, and I said goodbye to you, you said you were leaving. What the hell are you doing here now? Goodbye means goodbye. And you may say he's the director of wrestling operations. Like I said, I can work with you the easy way, or I can work with you the hard way. It's real simple. You need to make the decision.
Well, Bubba may make a decent point or two in there, but legal action
Very simple.
is a little much.
Wrestling's about opportunities. I didn't have my opportunity in front of all these fans last month. It was taken away from me. But I'm here to tell you that I started this organization. I'm not walking away slowly. I'm not saying I'm working against you, but the choice is yours, and the choice is yours. The easy way or the hard way.
Easy way, hard way. You know, I've never been one to take the easy road, so I've always sort of had an affinity for the hard way. You know, this couldn't come any better if thrown into my lap. Big man in the back looking for a job tonight. I've got the perfect idea. If you fans would like to see Mr. Hardway here have a hard way back into IWC, I've got a guy in the back that's been begging me for a job all afternoon. A guy by the name of Big Bill Collier. He's new here. If you want to come back to IWC and you want to have the hard way or the easy way, we'll let you decide. Big Bill Collier, come on down to the ring. The franchise is offering you an opportunity.
Well, Bubba the Bulldog threatening legal action, threatening lawyers and attorneys and paperwork to try to get back control of the company. He did indeed found, but relinquished all power toward less than a year thereafter, I believe. Bill Collier, the stumbling block in Bubba's way to get back into political favor in IWC, and Collier's a big guy. A big guy, very impressively built, done some impressive things over the past several months in a variety of smaller organizations, but now he's here at the dance, and he's against one of the most prolific athletes in IWC's history.
You know, just because Bubba came out here threatening legal action doesn't mean he can't throw down. Let's not discredit Bubba. He is the most amazing athlete to have ever come out of Pittsburgh. Ask him, he'll tell you.
We've heard it for a number of years, and Bubba is very cagey. He's very cerebral. He's very tough. We've seen him withstand wars with men like Shane Douglas in the past.
So let's not discount Bubba. I mean, clearly you look at Bill Collier. He's a giant individual. Yeah, but Bubba's chopped down some giants in his day. So.
Indeed he has. Collier probably around the 6'4" range, 250 or 60 of muscle. As you see, he breaks the grasp of Bubba the Bulldog. First in-ring matchup, Jay Worthington Farnsworth, of the new era IWC. And I gotta say, I speak for myself, I'm sure I speak for a number of other staff here. I am so happy to see this company evolve and change and progress forward.
Well, it is definitely a new day dawning here in IWC, and I am anxious to see just what Chuck and Shane are able to produce, and Bubba the Bulldog, apparently.
Well, Bubba, it seems like he is trying to take the work of Chuck Roberts and Shane Douglas, and not to mention our predecessor, and leverage in on that and take a piece of the pie for himself. Bubba did start IWC. He did found it. He did run it for a number of months. But once Bubba's schedule became, and check this power out, check the hang time, the blood rushes to Bubba's head. But once Bubba's schedule did not coincide with IWC anymore, he relinquished it. And he had a chance to come back here a couple of years ago and help run the ship, but he vanished then too. Bubba has no legal claim, in my opinion, to any part of this company.
You can say, oh, he walked away, oh, he didn't want to be involved at a certain point. But if he has the paperwork, he has the paperwork. Law's law, and if he didn't, if Norm just took a handshake agreement, then Chuck's going to have to learn a hard lesson that...
Check this out, the military press by Collier. And Bubba's a big boy himself. Bubba's about 240 himself, and he just got dropped down from about 8 feet in the air.
It does not look like he's taking that bump too well.
Well, Bubba has always been the type to be power hungry and egocentric. And we've seen it even back 5-6 years ago. Bubba always wanted control back. Once he saw, there's the resourcefulness of the veteran Bubba the Bulldog. But after Bubba saw what IWC was able to grow into, then he regretted his decision and has been regretting it ever since.
And right now, Bill Collier's kind of regretting the fact that he didn't pay more attention to his leg. Because now Bubba's definitely paying attention to that leg. He found a weak spot, now he's exploiting it. Smart. He's not going to overpower big time Bill Collier. So he's going to chop him down.
We have a new look for the IWC ring as well. A lot of things new here. New decade, new administration as IWC forges into the future. But Bubba determined to not be left in the past.
That black and red look, that was my idea.
I somehow doubt that. I don't think you were involved in these meetings.
No, that was me. And I also had suggested it to the NWO at one point.
I don't even...
Oh, look at this.
I'll check this out. Bubba pushing forward on Collier, bending the spine and also attempting to restrict the windpipe of the big man. This is him rolled up into a ball right now. And of course, when you're on the ground and you're rolled up like that, you're not 6'4" anymore.
True.
And also, you got to factor in that bad wheel. If you can't stand, you can't expertly utilize that power.
Yeah, and once again, right back to that bum leg. Figure 4.
That's time tested. It puts pressure on 7 different points of the lower human anatomy. And Bubba the Bulldog, you got to keep an eye on him, however. He's in prime range to use the ropes illegally.
Not that he would do that.
Oh, of course not. Try to sue a guy for company, sure, but grab a rope, no, not so much. And there you see Bubba with the illegal advantage.
Well, he was reaching out. He happened to hit the ropes.
Reaching out for what, pray tell?
Whatever he could find.
Bubba yelling back to Shane Douglas, who you got to believe is watching closely behind the scenes. The new director of wrestling operations, and who understands the ins and outs of the business better than the franchise. He's played the game with the best of them. And Shane Douglas has made his way out here onto the rampway, back to ringside. Shane Douglas, with a momentary distraction, whether it was inadvertent or not, allowed Bill Collier to take back control and attempt to mount the offensive. But the franchise, you know he's going to rule with an iron fist. Bubba already stepping out of line. And check this out. A fireman carry driver. Collier has to cover, and Bill Collier wins his debut.
Congratulations to Bill
Here is
Collier.
your winner, big time, Bill Collier.
Now let's call it how it is, though. Bubba lost this because Shane had no problem distracting him in the match. He came down and interfered in the match.
Well, if Bubba had his priorities straight on the match and on his opponent and not on litigiousness and not on boardroom meetings and legal action and summonses and whatever else, this might be a different outcome.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if I had a golden toilet, then I wouldn't have to pee in a tuba. Now would I?
Bubba the Bulldog wants the power, wants the control. He wants the company that everybody else built and made it a superpower. Will he get it? We'll keep track of these proceedings. Bill Collier, hopefully, when he's getting IWC contract, big win.
Yo, Chuck Roberts, I warned you. We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
Not this again.
Shane Douglas chose the hard way. Therefore, you chose the hard way. I will see you at the next IWC show, and it'll be the worst
What does Bubba have in store now that IWC power and control will not be restored to him, the original founder? That became one of the most popular athletes in the company, chest flexor, back in the ring after a several-month absence. And chest flexor has a lot of unique eccentricities about him, but we know from his time with the family, he's very tough and very resourceful.
And his opponent is making his IWC debut from Dayton, Ohio, weighing at 300 pounds, Crist.
We are looking at Crist the Madness Hall, a 300-pounder based out of the Midwest, Dayton, Cincinnati area. And Madness is a blue chipper. He's a star athlete, and he's ready-made to be very impactful in IWC. Is Crist Madness?
Holy crap, he's a wall-wearing boots.
And chest flexor, I think, is not sure what to make of Madness. We see a handshake. Sean Patrick, the referee, assigned this contest, veteran official for a number of years, well over a decade. Great to see Sean Patrick here on board.
Wait. That? Get the hell out of here.
What?
I thought that was Bobby Williams.
Yeah, you always do.
I finally get him straight and they change the refs? Are you kidding me?
Coulter's been gone about 4 or 5 months. I don't think you've noticed.
Which one was Coulter?
Madness looking to lock up with chest flexor. Flexor uses the speed to slip up underneath, trying to take out the vertical base
And kicked him in the butt.
300-pounder.
Oh!
I think Flexor's trying to knot up the thigh muscle of Madness, but those are some huge thighs to knot.
True.
And the power! Madness is a natural athlete as he goes for a cover here. 2-0. Even though he's a lot of power, he's got a great ground game, great amateur credentials, college football and college wrestling in his repertoire. He is a natural athlete despite his stockier build. He can use it very, very well. Madness only about a 2 or 3 year pro, so similar to Flexor in experience, but certainly has the advantage in strength as he presses Flexor overhead and drops him. And Flexors, we have a cover here, 2-0. Bless his heart, chest flexor. We've seen him wrestle guys like Rowe Shane Taylor, Super Hentai, the toughest of the tough in IWC. Half the time he was unconscious before the bell rang, but he never quit trying, and he never backed down, much like we're seeing now. Flexor is tough enough to make it, and good enough to make it, but he can't touch a break. And Flexor's neck may have been that break right now, covered by Madness. See you later.
Welcome to IWC. Good Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Crist Madness.
And if we're lucky, here's your survivor, chest flexor.
Well, a couple of debuts so far, a couple of big statements. This one being made by Crist the Madness, 300 pounds, completely decimating chest flexor. What do you think, Farnsworth? If you're an IWC star in the back, is Madness on your radar?
Good Lord, how is he not? Look at him. It's like King Kong mated with a T-Rex.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for the best 2 out of 3 falls. It has a 45-minute time limit, 4 minutes for the IWC Tag Team Championship.
The most decorated tag dynasty in IWC history, set to attempt to reclaim the gold.
They are the former champions. And a quarter-mile weight of 469 pounds.
the tag team champion opportunities. They've been through a lot of rough attempts here. They've been through a lot of shenanigans. Oh my God. They've been through attempts to break the team up, attempts to divide them, attempts to run them out of IWC. All that really just within the past year and a half. But they come back tonight as top contenders to the championship throne.
Absolutely. Probably one of the most decorated tag teams here in IWC. You want to talk about results? Not necessarily, you're talking sexual harassment.
Cut the music, cut the music.
Shut up.
You know, we got a big match here. 1 year in the making, our rematch for the IWC tag title. That's right. But there's another important announcement that I need to make. You know, I've done a lot of things in IWC, and there's one thing I haven't done. I've been the World Heavyweight Champion. I've held the World Tag Titles 7 times. And there's just one title I haven't won yet. So officially, I will throw my name into the ring, Chuckles, for the Super Indy tournament.
What?
That's not exactly Eric's
I've been
bag.
training in Mexico, learning how to roll and eat tacos and stuff like that. And I know that's what you need to win these kind of tournaments.
He has a point.
But you're right. Tonight, we focus on the belts. Airborne, get your ass out here.
That was interesting.
And their opponents, they are the IWC Tag Team Champions, the team of Jake and Dave Crist. They are the Irish Airborne.
We'll get back to Eric's career aspirations in a moment. But you look at the trainer, the turncoat, she got some comeuppance.
Or don't worry, I'm looking at her.
Oh, wait a second, from behind. David Jake Crist from behind. The distraction by Vicky Gambino. I was about to set this up and say that it was a year ago that Airborne won the tag team championships. They are the longest reigning title holders in IWC history by my notes. But I'll tell you this, Airborne used a few lucky breaks to beat sexual harassment a year ago. They had corporate favor. They had a referee that maybe wasn't paying as much attention as he should have. They had the office in their back pocket, but tonight it's not to be. No flukes tonight, no bad call tonight, J-Rocc. It's 2 out of 3 falls.
Very true, but I would say the key advantage that they have, I want you to take a look at what is on Vicky Gambino's chest right there.
Tag team championship.
Tag team championship. They have to lose the titles, which is the utmost advantage in a match like this. Sexual harassment has something to prove. They're the ones who have to climb over this mountain. Irish Airborne just have to survive it.
It's Dave Crist in the ring right now. Very unique style on the part of Dave, wouldn't you say?
Very, very. And, well, it is the Irish Airborne that was able to remove the Gambino brothers from IWC.
That's very true.
I want you to think about everyone else that has tried to go up against the Gambino and failed. And the Irish Airborne accomplished it. They're showing why they deserve these belts.
Keep in mind the psychological ploy they used against the Gambinos. Something so many teams have not been able to get one up on the Gambinos on is the psychological game. When Vicky Gambino turned her back on her own family to go with the greed of the tag gold, that factored in big time to Airborne's success. Vicky got some comeuppance from Mickey and Marshall, but you're right. Was it worth it in the end? We don't know, because that distraction led to Airborne running the Gambinos out of town forever. They are no longer part of IWC, and even though the Gambinos have caused so much problems, so much friction, so much lawlessness, you hate to see competitors be put out of a job.
Very true, very true. And wherever Mickey and Marshall are, whatever business they're doing, you know, waste management or moving, they had a moving business at one point. I hope they're doing well.
Yeah, those are a couple of good euphemisms right there. And a tag is made to Dave Crist, I would say the more brash and cocky of the two brothers, and he certainly does not keep that secretive.
No, I'd say that hair is letting you know exactly what you're dealing with right there.
But what about Eric Ecstasy's aspirations to be into the Super Indy tournament this year? Of course, it's Super Indy 9 this spring. And I find it very interesting. Of course, last year, Eric fully supported Justin Idol, his partner, when Idol made a bid to get into Super Indy 8 and really came within a hair of winning it. It'll be interesting to see how not only Justin Idol, but the rest of the Super Indy division reacts to Eric Ecstasy wanting to be a part of the tournament.
Well, very true. Now, there are a handful of wrestlers here. Am I correct that there has not been anyone to hold all 3 belts in IWC?
My knowledge, that's correct.
There are a handful of people capable of being the first person to win that Triple Crown here.
Leg lariat, Lilo press here, the shoulders are down, and Jake almost gets the pin on Eric Ecstasy for fall number 1. And keep in mind, Farnsworth, in a 2 out of 3 falls matchup, endurance plays a much bigger factor than it normally would.
Absolutely. Oh, look at this.
The kick to the temple, the moonsault, and the press, but Ida with an interruption. Now, it's a very interesting dichotomy here, Farnsworth, as we have another near fall. Airborne have a quicker style. They have more endurance on a relative basis here, but as this matchup draws out longer, they're out of their element. They can't run as fast. However, Eric Ecstasy, certainly he's not the trained for endurance out of anybody in this matchup. He's in great shape, but he's packing on the most body weight out of anybody. So as the match goes on, he'll be at a disadvantage. Which team do you give the edge to?
Well, you have to figure. I mean, Eric Ecstasy used to be much heavier, and he has definitely dropped weight and gotten in shape. He has great endurance. I'm saying he can go all night. Wait,
Cover again. Excuse me?
I did. Well, no, I mean,
He can what?
no, he's a wrestler. He can,
Yeah.
he
What,
can,
what else does he do? Into the buckle.
he's well trained.
I will give you that, yes. In many aspects. Instant curry, right to the back of the head, external occipital protuberance, but Eric instinctively gets the tag when he needed it most. Eric could feel himself fading in a last-ditch effort to get to Justin Idol to get the tag.
Get the fresh man into the ring. What Justin Idol needs to be doing is try and take advantage of this momentum. Get a win or get a pin quickly.
That's right. And if you get one fall up on your opponents, that's a big-time psychological advantage. And we talked a moment ago about how important psychology was in the rivalry with the Gambinos and the Airborne.
Very true. You have to believe a match of these 2 teams who are good with head games.
Ouch! And there's a head game for you, or specifically to the chin. A spirit of follow-through. A cover here. Watch out for Dave to get the interruption. And Dave with a flying with a helo.
And he lands on his feet and collects some applause.
One of the best natural athletes in IWC, but with people like Vicky at ringside, it's impossible to like Dave Crist. But watch this now. High risk, got caught. A choke slam as Eric is back in. I know Justin is the legal man. I'm not sure about the Airborne camp.
Yeah, I've sort of lost count myself.
I'll watch Jake Crist. Oh, wait. Unfamiliar territory. Eric, who got powerbombed. Landed on the back of the head, and this could be. Is that one fall or not? Sean Patrick calls it for one fall. And that was a judgment call. I would assume that Eric maybe got a piece of the shoulder up, but not the blade of the shoulder, which is what the official is supposed to be counting.
And if so, a good call by referee
Sean Patrick. I'll help you.
Sean Patrick?
It's 3 syllables. I know it's tough for you. But this is a very interesting scenario here, as Eric seems to be knocked loopy here, based on this power bomb.
Yeah, he definitely landed on the back of his head there.
I find it very interesting that Eric Farnsworth was not the legal man in that exchange. That is another tough break that goes in the favor of Irish Airborne, and that's been the story in this whole rivalry. This wasn't intentional. This was not planned, but it was just one of those things that happens in the heat of the battle.
Well, and to be fair, this is one of Irish Airborne's abilities. They can confuse you in the ring. They can make you stop paying attention to things like who was the legal man.
That's how lightning fast they are, Farnsworth. That's right. Idol goes for the spear crusher, but met with a thrust kick by Dave Crist. And this out. Airborne up and over top of one another. Didn't get it totally smoothly, but still got the impact on Idol from coming from both sides.
And he's draped over the knees, and
Dr. Nick Tulo making his way to ringside, the IWC position, as this has been unfortunately reduced to a handicap match. And Eric is hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners of 2 falls and still the IWC Tag Team Champions, the Irish Airborne.
And this has been systematic dissection, J-Worth.
they took them apart, and that says something about the Irish Airborne, honestly.
And I think this is a situation, Farnsworth, where you got to keep in mind sexual harassment may not have been totally on the same page. Eric was looking at Super Indy. Idol had just come off of Super Indy, and they really didn't have their head focused on the importance of this tag title match. Airborne, the brother team with great cohesion, they divided, they conquered, they got the win. Our thoughts now, however, have to be with the health and safety of Eric Ecstasy.
Absolutely. You saw just how hard his head bounced off that mat with that sunset flip power bomb.
And again,
off of the top rope.
J-Worth, that's uncharted territory for Eric. He's still about 250, 260 of a lot of mass, and he's not usually on that second turnbuckle. And to come off and be propelled at that velocity right under the back of his head by an athlete the power of either one of Irish Airborne has got to, you know, lead to serious concern here. And we have a lot of guys from the back coming out here. And we hope Eric's okay and hope that the sexual harassment dynasty can continue on.
It looks like he's moving. He's up.
He is up.
Hello, world. For those of you that don't know, allow me this opportunity to introduce myself. I am the Riot, the Ruckus, and the Rock, Joseph Brooks. And tonight I'm taking on Nickie Valentino. And to be honest, a downright tragedy has occurred here tonight. Because for some reason, someone feels the need that I have to prove myself. I'm Joseph Brooks, and I need to prove myself to nobody. And to make matters worse, it has to happen in a town that I've always considered the half-retarded sibling of Pittsburgh, Elizabeth, Pennsylvania.
Oh, it's not half-retarded.
Tonight, I will make history. I will make my presence felt, and I will be known. Because the Riot, Ruckus, and Rock Tour starts right here, right now. Believe it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, set for 1 fall, has a 20-minute time limit, and it is our proving ground match. Introducing to you first, about to make his way to the ring, he hails from Wheeling, West Virginia, weighs in at 195 pounds, Joseph Brooks.
Well, J-Worth, proving ground match time. Great concept. 2 athletes we've never seen before in IWC fighting to earn a spot in this company. If you win, you don't necessarily make it. If you lose, you don't necessarily don't. It's all about the performance. It's all about if you impress. I have had a chance to see both these guys in the past in my travels, and they're both going to do very, very well, I guarantee it.
Really, it's just another chance for Chuck to compare himself to Seacrest. So,
No comment. But Joseph Brooks in the ring, and we'll get into him in a minute here. He's been compared to a very prolific star from the past in his time.
Tonight, IWC, Elizabeth, Pennsylvania, proving ground match. Nickie Valentino versus Joseph Brooks. Each and every place I've been a top guy. I've been the big fish in a small pond. But tonight IWC is that ocean. That ocean where I've come to prove myself. See, tonight, I got all the respect in the world for you, Joseph Brooks. I got all the respect in the world for you, for each and every one of those fans, and for each and every guy in that locker room. But tonight I'm here to prove to each and every guy in that locker room, to each and every one of you people, and to myself,
that I belong here, that I belong in IWC. Tonight, I proved myself.
And his opponent hails from Long Island, New York, weighs in at 180 pounds, Nickie
Nickie Valentino competes primarily in Ohio, where he's captured championships and a lot of big-time matches along the way. Valentino, Farnsworth, still technically a rookie. He's very young, but he's progressed very, very far in a short amount of time. He's really found his niche. He's really found what works for him well. And Valentino is a blue chipper to keep an eye on these next few years. Now, Farnsworth, I've had a chance to see Valentino through my travels throughout the state of Ohio the past 6, 8, 12 months. Joseph Brooks, I've had a chance to see as well. I actually watched Joseph Brooks compete in Philly, New Alhambra, former ECW arena. So he's got the goods to be in some big-time places. And Brooks, you look at him and you see a stark physical resemblance to the late, great Brian Pillman. The hair, the tights, a lot of Pillman-esque movements and mindsets he's sort of adapted. He's even in a tag team at one point called the New Hollywood Blonde. So this guy clearly looks up to Pillman a lot and clearly has that same young Brian Pillman swagger he had as a Hollywood Blonde, where he thinks he's the best of the best. He said it himself, the Riot, the Ruckus, and the Rock, Joseph Brooks.
Well, I've never seen either of them. They both asked me to take a look at their demo DVDs, but I charge like $150 for that, 150 or so, and neither of them would. So honestly, first time I've got to see both of these youngsters in the ring.
I know a guy that tried to do that to me one time. That's another story. Valentino with a wrist lock on Joseph Brooks. I don't think either of these guys would really care what you think. You know why? Because it's about what these fans think. The IWC fans, they're going to determine who they like, who they don't. And of course, Chuck Roberts, Shane Douglas, are going to be watching as well. These guys are fighting for a job. And that's what I love about these proving ground matches. No one's going to phone it in. No one's going to go through the motions. Everybody's going to give you 120% because they know if they don't, they may not be back.
Yeah, but if they don't care what I think, then they're idiots. So honestly, I don't care if either of them shows up, frankly. Pay me my $150 and then we can talk. Then I care.
Valentino, a scrappy young underdog. Not the biggest dog in the fight, but certainly well put together for his size. Got a lot of muscle and a lot of great definition, what you say?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Check out that overhead Japanese-style arm drag, and Valentino using his quickness here to control the tempo of the matchup. A quicker tempo will favor the man who affectionately refers to himself as Late Night Nickie Valentino. And I've had a chance to see a lot of Valentino. I had a chance to see a montage of his training and preparation for this show here tonight. And he is focused, he is prepared. Valentino, only about a year in the game, but he still has not let that go to his head. He understands and appreciates how big an opportunity this is.
Well, montage is nice because you don't have to spend all the time looking at all of it. You just see little bits.
Montage!
It moves you from point A to point B.
Brooks backs Valentino into point B, which is the corner at this point.
Unless you're Eisenstein. Eisenstein used it to show multiple angles of the same thing, but that's filmed.
Springboard crossbody, nicely done, 2-0. Brooks has a little more experience under his belt and had a lot of success on the East Coast, and as Chuck mentioned, wrestling out of Wheeling, West Virginia, trying to break into this area of the country as well. Another guy that's got the tools, got the ability, got the seasoning, but there's really nothing, and Chuck said it at the top of the DVD, there's really nothing like the feel and the atmosphere of an IWC show. It's like a completely different animal.
Very true, very true. I've been to countless wrestling shows. IWC, the fans are constantly into it. I think it's because the loud music confuses them. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, it gets the energy up.
Cover in the ring for two. I think Valentino's confused. Did you see what Brooks did there? Scooped Valentino's leg right off of that second turnbuckle, tripped Nickie up. Nickie Valentino landed face first on that hard canvas, and shoulder first isn't much of a consolation prize either into that post.
I gotta tell you, I like that. That was a little vicious right there. That's the kind of thing I want to see.
And you know, we mentioned every month, Farnsworth, but it bears repeating. That's not a cylindrical post. That has edges on it. That has curves on it. That has an edge that can dig into your shoulder.
Yeah, it also has like 200 and 300 pounds to it. It is a solid piece of metal.
Absolutely is. Valentino may be looking at a busted collarbone here, a litany of other injuries here. But you see Brooks with that tenacity focusing on Valentino. And certainly the loud, obnoxious attitude of a Brian Pillman. And a bit of a loose cannon in his own right.
Well, right now. Oh.
Series of knife edges by Valentino. Forearm shots perfectly legal. But met with a hard clothesline by Brooks.
A nice lariat by Brooks.
Brooks is raising a little bit of a ruckus here. There's two, no.
Is he trying to insinuate that perhaps Nickie Valentino a bit of a crybaby there?
I don't think crybaby is in the vernacular of Nickie Valentino. You look at this guy, you look at his size, and you realize that he's probably been an underdog his entire athletic life, whether it be in high school, in college, here in professional wrestling, anywhere. But that has not deterred him. You heard in the pre-match comments, he's not here to have anything handed to him. He's here to earn it. He's here to prove himself. I don't know about being the big fish in a small pond. He doesn't look that big to me, but that's beside the point.
Your own point of view sometimes gets a little skewed.
But I'll tell you, he makes a point in that he has risen to this point in his career a lot quicker than a lot of guys. How many guys have you known, other than the guys that come out of our expert training schools, that have come into IWC a year in?
Yeah, very true.
That's a short list.
He's only at a year.
About that, personally, my perspective, first time I saw this guy, I believe, was last March. Backslide, Valentino tried to bridge up, but did it a second too late. If he had bridged up earlier, it might be over.
I wouldn't have guessed him at a year. Oh, nice snap, man.
That just shows you that Valentino,
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
like a lot of guys we've seen in here over the years, like a Gory, a Xion, a Gargano, Valentino may fit that mold of being wise beyond their years.
No, very, very true. Or he could just be a guy that gets the crap kicked out of him by the Riot, the Ruckus, and the Raw.
I don't think Valentino minds. He knows it's going to be hard work to get in the door here and probably even tougher to stay in, but he seems prepared for that obstacle.
You know, he waited till the 4.5. Smart. I like this. Oh, nice.
Well, win, lose, or draw, you got to give Brooks points for intensity and focus so far. Cover here. Check this out. Your fault.
Valentino tried to roll away, and Brooks just grabbed him and went for the pin. Wanted to see how much was left in the tank, I think.
And Brooks cannot underestimate Valentino. Keep in mind, Valentino and Brooks traveled very different roads to be here, but they're at the exact same level right now for all intents and purposes, and they both want the exact same thing. Both of them could get it. Neither one could get it. We won't know until the dust is settled.
Very true. Ooh.
Nice jumping back elbow by Valentino. Followed through with a Hurricane Rana. Great agility. What he's got to do, but you notice he's had a lot taken out of him. He couldn't follow through very quickly. Count along with Valentino.
To be fair, everyone here needs help to get up to them. So
I think Valentino may have given him an 11 just for kicks.
yeah, you notice they didn't yell out 11. I think one may have yelled post.
Cross body cover, 2-0.
Yeah, it looked like Valentino wanted to charge in and and you could tell he knew his feet weren't under him at that point. So he went in for some punches.
Valentino says finish. Could be a bit presumptuous. We'll see. Up and over.
Brooks trying to get some distance.
But Valentino measures. Beautiful compacted drop kick. A lot of impact on the midsection, but not enough.
You have to believe that Nickie Valentino is running on empty at this point. He's taking some beating. Yeah, as you saw, I mean, he's still moving. He's still looking good, but how much does he have left in him on this? He needs to finish the match.
Off comes the elbow pad. Valentino's focused now. Up and over, wheelbarrow suplex. And that's, Valentino tried that body scissors, didn't maybe have the body weight to follow through correctly, but still able to kick out. Great tenacity by Valentino.
Very true. It looked like Brooks didn't quite get his hips to pop like he wanted to get the maximum impact on that. But I think he's had enough.
Brooks is measuring him. Valentino doesn't see him coming. Maybe going for some kind of neck breaker there, but Valentino was a step ahead. Oh! Flatliner. Not sure what Valentino calls it, but that did it. Nickie Valentino wins.
Just grabbed his head and put it right in the canvas.
Nickie Valentino.
And I'll tell you what, a great start to this proving ground concept. I'm digging it so far. I love it. As far as I'm concerned, Farnsworth, it's not up to me, but I'd give Brooks and especially Valentino a contract with IWC off of this.
I was impressed. I like the Nickie Valentino looked at this and said, everyone except for, Samoans have the same weakness, the head.
All right, we got a packed second half of the show here for you guys tonight. We're going to start off here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with our Super Indy 9 qualifier. And to kick off those festivities, right now, I would like to introduce to you the current IWC Super Indy champion, ladies and gentlemen, Super
About to be joined by the controlled aggression and howling fury of the Super Indy innovator, the man synonymous with the division. Kicking off this Super Indy 9 qualifying matchup, he is Super Hentai, the man who for 51 weeks made Super Indy a household term in independent wrestling, and is well on his way to attempting to do it once more. Hentai valiantly defend that championship over the past several months, and much like his first reign when he went over to Japan, we saw him, but we didn't see him, but he did defend the championship about a month ago in Hawaii on one of his extensive travels there. Hentai, unfortunately, suffered a hernia, I understand, that's kept him on the shelf since then and out of competition here tonight.
Something as serious as a hernia would put most men on the shelf for a while. But we see Hentai here tonight. I don't think it's going to hold him down long.
Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, a little bit earlier on here today, we got a phone call from John McChesney. And John McChesney, unfortunately, had to cancel out here tonight. He unfortunately will not be on the show, a case of food poisoning. And if it's what I heard on the other end of the line, it's certainly legitimate. However, I went to this man and I said, Super Hentai, we got a dilemma. What do you think? You're the Super Indy champion. So here tonight, based on Super Hentai's recommendation and endorsed by Shane Douglas, tonight for the qualifier, it's not going to be one-on-one. It's going to be 3 guys, 1 match, triple threat. Logan, Johnny, Gargano, and Jason Gory. And Super Hentai, I know you have a few words for the fans and the participants here tonight. That's right, Chuck. First off, Elizabeth, you having a good time tonight? It's been one hell of a card so far, Chuck. I congratulate you on that. Yeah, you know what? I love to be wrestling tonight here in this ring, but I had surgery, so that restricted me. But it's not going to stop me from being out here and watching 3 great young athletes kick the hell out of each other for a Super Indy title spot in the community. Chuck, I don't have much more to say. Let's get this going. Fans, give these guys the recognition they deserve. I want to hear you guys screaming on your feet. As loud as you can. Let's get this going.
Super head tie will be a very vested observer.
Participant number 1 hails from Cleveland, Ohio, weighs in at 200 pounds. He is Johnny Gargano.
Head tie may be most interested in observing this young man, Johnny Gargano, who captured the Super Indy Championship from Jerry Lynn a couple of years ago. And oh wait, and you see there's still a lot of heat, a lot of tension, J-Rocc, between head tie and Gargano. Gargano claimed he was the rightful Super Indy champion. Gargano ruined head tie celebration at Super Indy 8. Ruined the moment head tie had worked for 7 years to achieve. And Gargano again with another immature, inappropriate message to the Super Indy innovator.
Start the head games early as far as I'm concerned.
Gargano claims he's still the champion. That is incorrect, but if he makes it to Super Indy 9 and wins the tournament, he will be. Gory is the most overlooked Super Indy champion in history, having won the championship for 1 hour back in 2007. Jason Gory never had a chance to defend the championship before he had to relinquish it. But a spot here in Super Indy 9 could put him back on top of the mountain.
Absolutely, and you know he is looking to get a hold of that gold again.
And what's with the hair? What is this?
There's some guitars. Is it the Honky Tonk Man?
I don't know. I don't think so. What, Logan Shulo?
Not that I need an introduction, but I am Logan Shulo, performer, musician, and professional wrestler. And the other day I was strumming my Fender. That's a guitar, for those of you who aren't in the music biz. And it hit me.
Technical difficulties. We are recording live. That's what happened.
Are we good? I only work when the cameras are rolling. The fact is, it hit me. I thought I had a match, a Super Indy qualifying match with John McChesney. The fact is, he came down with food poisoning. So they tossed me in a match with Johnny Gargano and Jason Gory. Both great competitors in their own right. But as far as I'm concerned, they're just another brick in the wall. It doesn't matter who it is, really. Jason Gory, John McChesney, Johnny Gargano, or Super Hentai. They're just another stepping stone for me on my way to the top in 2010. And like I said, I perform. I'm a performer. I put on a performance. And tonight's going to be one performance you don't want to miss. Because when it's all over, and Gargano and Gory laying on the mat, looking up at me, all you people who are so clearly jealous of me and the way I live, will have no choice but to chant for an encore. Ladies and gentlemen, the front man, Logan Shulo, is about to go on.
Logan Shulo, J-Rocc, and it seems in the past few months, we've seen Logan grow more comfortable with his role here in IWC, and we've seen a little bit more of his real personality. Of course, his background seems to be heavily steeped in the music world as a former rock musician, and it seems he's taken elements of that to become a more perfect wrestler, a more well-rounded wrestler, competitor, and as he would call it, performer. But is he impressive super hentai?
You know, I wouldn't, and don't get me wrong, I'm a firm believer that, you know, you find the biggest fight you can and you win it, and that shows everyone just what you got, but I don't know that I'd take that bite off a super hentai. Especially with him standing right there. A super hentai at 80% is still twice the man of most people here.
Yeah, well, I still wouldn't cross super hentai regardless of his physical status right now, which surprises me that Gargano is so brazen to sort of fire the first shot of the evening against hentai, so to speak. And it's not like hentai needs any help getting into a bad mood when it comes to competition, when it comes to people like Gargano that cross him.
No, not at all. Hentai understands that, you know, if you're going to be at the top of the mountain, you got to keep yourself there. You don't allow anyone to challenge you with that.
And you saw Hentai had to walk around the ring to get his chair back that Gargano stole. And that probably put Hentai in an even worse mood. But right now he's got to stay focused. Because we have three young athletes right here, two former Super Indy champions, and one that wants to get there, competing for a guaranteed spot in Super Indy 9 this May.
Yep, very, very true. And right away we see Logan Shulo taking control. The power game that he possesses might be his advantage over the other two. Well, it is his advantage.
Almost shade to Jimi Hendrix a moment ago by Shulo with that stance. Maybe trying to set the Super Indy division on fire here, so to speak, if he gets the opportunity. But I wonder how Hentai feels about Super Indy 9. We know he worked so hard to bring back Super Indy 8. Gargano will control Gory, but Gory is the quickest man in IWC. Bottom line. And check this out. Springs in with a Hurricanrana.
Almost hit the ring lights on that.
Is Hentai going to relinquish the championship and challenge the winner? Or is he going to attempt to run the gauntlet again and defend the title in the tournament? We've seen both in the past.
Very true. Well, we even saw one situation where the guy just refused to give the belt up, took off.
Yeah, and we've seen guys refuse to accept the belt until they feel they've earned it. So Super Indy has so many unique situations, and who knows what kind of a unique situation one of these three men, at least one of these three men, will be thrust into this May for Super Indy 9. Of course, the winner gets a guaranteed spot. I don't think that means the losers are necessarily out guaranteed if they can prove themselves.
And look at Shulo here, rolling him over into a Indian deathlock.
Yeah, a bit of a step over toe hold, Indian deathlock combination. And Shulo really cinching in with a wide vertical base. And very interesting to keep in mind as well, Gargano's doing absolutely nothing right now.
Enjoying the water, taking some time. Smart move by Gargano. In a three-way match like this, you have to conserve as much energy as possible.
He's one of those guys we touched on earlier, wise beyond his years. The spit of the water into the eyes, that's inappropriate, Farnsworth.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm shocked and horrified. Can you hear the sarcasm?
In a Super Indy qualifying match, spitting is really... You think Hentai's impressed by spitting with the respect and honor he's built the Super Indy title on?
You don't have to impress Hentai. You have to beat him. There's a big, big difference.
Well, neither one's particularly easy, but what is Gargano doing now?
It looks sort of like a dance.
Vaguely resembling one, yes. But watch Gory, that's the story now. Physical contact. Hey, wrestling, remember that? Shulo drops down, but got kicked in the face. And Gargano's smart to interrupt the fall. It is one fall will finish, J-Rocc. Only one man will come out with a guaranteed spot tonight.
Just because he wasn't participating in the action doesn't mean he wasn't paying attention. Smart move by Gargano.
And Shulo, you know Shulo wants the spotlight on himself. He calls himself the front man. And Gory, but then again Gargano, you see on his trunks the whole shebang. But Gory now comes from the top with a crossbody. And Flair, Gory's got a reason for newfound motivation. You talk about that hairstyle, but keep in mind a couple of months ago, Shiima Xion delivered a very personal and very stiff diatribe to Gory in the ring that I think hit pretty close to home to his former tag team partner. I think Gory may be channeling those words from Shiima Xion, who's of course in the main event tonight, and a heavyweight champion, or at least a former heavyweight champion. It could be again tonight. I think Gory's looking at that as potential motivation to climb up the ranks.
So you're saying Gory's jealous of Shiima Xion and his success?
Absolutely. I think Gory wants to prove something to Shiima, that Gory wasn't the weak link, and Gory's not a failure like Shiima erroneously pegged him as.
Well, which of them has had the heavyweight title?
Sure, Shiima Xion has had more success, and maybe that's an issue Gory has to find within himself. Maybe he's got to search out himself to find that answer. But Gory's not a pushover. Tag champion, Super Indy champion, and one of the best natural athletes we have here.
Oh, sure, he's good. He's just not on the level of like a Shiima Xion.
And that's wherein the debate lies. But Logan Shulo now attempted to throw his own hat into that debate by taking care of Gory. High elevation and drops down. Gory has the shoulders down, but no.
And Gargano, again, paying attention, making sure that nothing's going to get over on him. This is not an elimination match. It's the first person to get a pinfall, a submission.
It's true.
What happens with a counter?
Well, Gargano showing Shulo what happens with a run to the ropes. He got caught with that spear. And Gargano now mounts the offense, and Gory got long darted into the corner.
That looks absolutely perfect. I've seen it done into the top turnbuckle, but never just shot into the middle.
Gargano, top turnbuckle here. Frog splash. Could this be all? 2 and a near fall. Gargano just coming off of a hotly contested series with IWC favorite Jimmy Jacobs during our Call to Arms weekend in December. Gargano split matches there with the former Barbaric Berserker. Gargano would love to be back over 500 as far as the recent past goes. Gargano dropped the matchup to Jimmy DeMarco in November as well, so Gargano has a lot to prove on his own right here.
Very true. Oh.
QAS got the big man over, got the pinno. I noticed Gory didn't get the snap on it he normally did with the larger Shulo.
Very true, very true. Oh, but you heard the snap on that, didn't you? Right to the gut.
Gargano is a southpaw, and you saw him measure with the left. And Gory now. They've been going for trepidation, counter, uniquely you attempt, but Gory has that scouted well. Gory's bringing his A game here, but Gargano is now beginning to open up. Gargano running all over the place here, but man went to the well once too often, because here comes Gory with a tornado DDT.
And Gargano back to his feet, impressive.
Check Shulo out with the huge vertical leap with the axe handle. But Gargano, the opportunist, hits uniquely you. But Shulo a step ahead, a roll up, and Shulo just pinned Gargano.
Wow, what a great win from Shulo.
And you gotta call that a mild upset. Shulo's first tournament berth.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and qualifying for Super Indy 9, Logan Shulo.
And I want you to take a look at Super Hentai, just sitting there shaking his head. He was not happy with that.
Gargano and Gory certainly were not as well. Shulo, of course, he didn't forget his mic stand. He picked up the win here this evening, his first berth in a Super Indy tournament. The only man in the match to not learn the championship. You gotta wonder how Super Hentai feels about the performance of all three of these athletes. And Gargano, after a year of calling himself the rightful and deserving champion, couldn't even earn a shot here tonight.
He's in the ring, and he's still staring at Gargano.
You gotta be kidding me. You absolutely gotta be kidding me. Jason Gory, you have mismanaged your career.
Shiima's back. What is this? Shiima's in the main event.
See, if you want to listen to me, you would have to be qualified for this title. You're already a Super Indy champion. Now you can't even win a qualifying match. What the hell's wrong with you?
Don't step on hentai, pal. Don't demean that championship. That's everything to hentai.
Listen, kid. If you want to get in Shiima Xion's face, you're going to need a step ladder.
Kid? Did you call him kid? The last thing Shiima needs right now is more enemies.
Shulo, listen to me, Gory. That's all I gotta say. And now look, Logan Shulo's going to the Super Indy tournament. Not you. You've lost yet again.
Shiima tells Gory, you should have listened to me. We don't know what specifically he means, but Shiima once again dressing down Gory for a tough loss, but we gotta give props, give respect to Jason. I think, you know, Shiima may make a good point or two, but he's being way too hard on his former tag partner.
Well, you know what? It's called top love. And sometimes you gotta whip the horse to get him to run a little faster, get him into the race. See?
All you people know who I am and know what I'm capable of. And all you people know this man standing next to me and know what he's capable of. And when we issue an open challenge, like the Facade, Team Radford, you guys must be slow learners. But that's all right, this class is about to be in session.
Team Radford, in the past you've been a champion. You're one of those most feared men in IWC. But Team Radford, that was the past. And until you prove it to us, you're just the next chump in our way. 2010, the year of the Mafia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following special tag team challenge is set for one fall and a 20-minute time limit.
Well, unquestionably, throughout the past 4 years or so, the Cleveland Mafia have been one of the most dangerous tandems in IWC, if not the most.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you team number one at a total combined weight of 613 pounds. The team of Shane Taylor, Rowe, the Cleveland Mafia.
Ray Rowe is reckless, he is ruthless, he is dangerous. Oftentimes, he is emotionless. Although lately we have seen emotions come from Ray Rowe. Emotions based on greed, based on jealousy. We've seen Ray Rowe as a hired heavy of Shiima Xion. And most importantly, perhaps, we've seen Ray Rowe on a collision course with John Bolen. Some interesting stipulations regarding the career of Ray Rowe earlier tonight that we'll delve more into during the course of this contest. So right now, a very unique tag team, one I don't believe we've seen here before. Very contrasting personalities. Good oil and water mix for success.
And from team number 2, introducing Team Hearst, roaming the streets at night, creeping while you're sleeping. Here is
Facade on the way to the ring first. We saw Facade have a career performance a month ago, Farnsworth, when he challenged Super Hentai for the Super Indy Championship. And even though he was unsuccessful, we could see firsthand just how far he's come. If you want to talk about last month, the man we're about to be introduced to made his return to stay a month ago. A man who's been all over the Southwest, into Japan, and is a former IWC champion, now dubbed the East Coast Killer. He is Dean Radford.
And his partner weighs in at 265 pounds. He's the East Coast Killer, Dean Radford.
Farnsworth, the Cleveland Mafia laid out the open challenge. Any two men that wanted to compete against Ray Rowe and the notorious Shane Taylor, they had an open contract. What do you make of the two men that have stood up to the challenge?
Well, clearly, they're suicidal.
And check out the tension here, Farnsworth, not to interrupt you, but nobody's in the ring yet, and we could be about to come to blows already.
Honestly, what's your mindset going into this.
And Ray Rowe said it best. He wants the music cut, he just wants to fight. And we're wasting no time, starting with two of the most dominant forces in IWC history. Radford dominated the first part of the decade, Rowe dominated the second part of the decade. Both men have captured championships along the way.
Both of them are giant men. Both of them. Honestly, there are very few people that can actually lock up with Ray Rowe and not immediately get tossed to a turnbuckle or an ambulance.
Well, we're looking at over 500 pounds of power in the ring right now, just between Ray Rowe and Dean Radford. Then you factor in the agility and the quickness that Michael Facade possesses, and then the 375-pound Shane Taylor. And you have so many dynamics. You got to feel for Facade a little bit here, being the odd man out as far as style-wise, but he has the advantage with the quickness.
Yeah, one of these things is not like the other.
A huge collision again.
Yeah. You know, I look at this matchup, and I got to give the advantage to Ray Rowe just because we know. Was that a tag? Yeah, really. What is he thinking? Really, what are you thinking?
Please, Farnsworth. I think Facade is thinking confidence, and you got to admire that. So let's talk briefly about Ray Rowe. The stipulations levied earlier tonight. He has a championship opportunity later on this year at Super Indy. However, he has to last, because we've been told if Ray Rowe sticks his nose where it doesn't belong, specifically in the business of John Bolen, Ray Rowe's not going to be around here much longer. He'll be out the door.
Very true, and we will see whether or not. I guess that would be the first challenge to Chuck's. Well, the second challenge to Chuck's power, being that Bubba has already just started the new era with a challenge.
Very true. Facade trying to top down Ray Rowe and able to out-quicken him. Facade needs to stay out of the grasp of Ray Rowe. If he can hit and run, he's got an advantage. If he controls the tempo, he's got an advantage. But as soon as Ray Rowe can grab onto the bomber, it's history. But there you see the moonsault, great form for a near fall.
Got his knee right in Ray Rowe's head. I don't know that I'd want to try and do strikes on Ray Rowe.
Not at all. And that Facade was smart to step away from that. And he tried to hit and run, but may have run a bit too much.
And that was Michael Facade.
And you got to hope Ray Rowe does not get involved in our main event, Extreme Rules, Shiima Xion versus Jimmy DeMarco later tonight. And I am legitimately concerned about the health and well-being of both of those athletes after what we already saw them put each other through. And if Ray Rowe is anywhere near the ring, we could have a catastrophe on our hands. But right now,
let's talk about the catastrophe that's happening in the ring right now.
Exactly. Michael Facade is paying for his courageousness, paying for his gumption. It's an admirable quality, but wouldn't you want to have 265 of Radford soften up the Cleveland Mafia beforehand?
Somewhere in there has to be a little voice talking in Michael Facade's head saying, Michael, this was a bad idea. It was a bad idea, Michael. You have to believe he has some idea of self-preservation that he's just ignoring. Because otherwise, why would you get in the ring with those two friggin' carnivores?
Right now in the ring, we got Notorious Shane Taylor. I used to know a guy named Notorious. I don't know what happened to him. Whatever. Shane Taylor in control now of Michael Facade. And again, just steamrolled over by 350 plus of power. And you can see the snap of Facade's body, how he had no control over his landing there, and how quickly he hit the canvas.
The last time I saw an impact like that, they had to call some state employees with a shovel.
Ouch. You know, the Cleveland Mafia went into tonight looking to make a statement. They went in tonight looking to make this kind of impact, looking to show that they are going to be the team to beat, the entities to beat in the new era IWC in 2010. And they are succeeding thus far. Facade and Radford may have found their way into a Cleveland Mafia trap.
You have to believe that when they heard these were that this is who accepted the challenge, this is what they were planning. Keep the bigger guy outside the ring, keep him waiting for a tag.
Wait, sunset flip, but Rowe, just too much power to hold down.
And just beat on the smaller guy.
Near fall. Facade able to get the shoulder up. But keep in mind the Mafia's plans will not be done just with this matchup. J-Rocc has an opportunity, God forbid, to become the #1 contender to the heavyweight championship after tonight.
And it's a big if, though. John Bolen is a big if.
But if he indeed does, will we ever be able to live it down? If a
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
If a loudmouth like J-Rocc captures the heavyweight championship or even the top contendership, the Cleveland Mafia may be unstoppable. And there have been many times it has seemed that way, and many of those times it's been true. But with the heavyweight championship back in the fold for the first time since Ray Rowe almost a year ago, the Mafia would cement their dominance for many years to come.
And that was a wicked forearm shiver that he just put across Michael Facade's face. How much can Michael Facade have left?
Well,
there are very few people that just get worked over by the Cleveland Mafia and live to tell the tale.
We've seen the guts and gumption of Facade many times in the past, and this may be a case of Rowe and Taylor just playing with Michael Facade. We're seeing the strikes, we're not seeing the suplexes yet. If Rowe was really attempting to finish off the suburban terrorist, we would see the suplex machine side of him unleashed. We are not seeing that unleashed right now. We are just seeing playtime for the behemoths.
You just saw Ray Rowe step on the chest of Michael Facade for the 2 count, and then when he squirmed a little, he just took his foot off. He wasn't looking for a pin. He just wanted to sort of let Dean Radford know this could be over right now. Perhaps you should have picked another partner.
And you can see the intensity and the frustration building on the face of Dean Radford. He has not been a regular competitor in IWC in some 3 years. He is itching to get back into this competitive nature here, into the tag team scene. And Facade almost literally touching our lights as he was elevated almost 10 feet in the air by these powerhouses. This could be all too. That's a near fall.
I am shocked that Facade was able to kick out.
And that's a case of just barely being able to create enough movement to get the shoulder off the canvas.
That was Shane Taylor just going for a perfunctory pin as opposed to putting all his weight down over him. I think had he actually attempted a true pin, that would have been it.
What we're seeing here is the difference between the Radford Facade team and the well-established Cleveland Mafia team. Where Facade and Radford seasoned, Radford could have softened up the powerhouses, tagged Facade in, who would have been able to utilize his speed much better against the more tired Cleveland Mafia. Facade went in full bore. It proved to be a mistake, but he can make up for it right now with a tag to the 265-pound former IWC champion. And Radford is in. And it's Radford and Rowe toe-to-toe right now. The clothesline takes down Rowe. And Radford, with that trademark offense, takes down the emotionless assassin, takes down the toughest man in this organization. And Radford now, scaling to the top, 265 with the elbow to the point of the heart. We have the cover now, 2.5.
You have to believe that Dean Radford is looking at this as his opportunity. As Shane Taylor gets back to the ring, the divide and conquer is not happening now.
Death Row coming up, but Radford has the power to counter. But now, suplex unleashed. Rowe senses the danger and had to go into his playbook. But you're right, Farnsworth, if Radford can not only defeat Ray Rowe in a singles aspect, in a tag aspect, whatever, it puts him right in line for any championship in IWC.
It puts him right into the hunt, and you know that's where he wants to be.
Taylor, however, tried to burst the momentum, but to no avail.
And flashes of quickness there by Dean Radford.
Well, when you got 100 pounds lighter than your opposition, it's going to happen. You noticed Radford spitting at Ray Rowe. You can tell there's some bad blood there already. But he took his eye off of Shane Taylor, and that could prove to be fatal now. The cover, but Taylor, with all that power, does not hook a leg.
Radford tried to play a head game with Ray Rowe, and really, you do not want into that playground. You are not going to intimidate him. If you anchor him, really, all you're going to do is make him hurt you more. I'm not quite sure that was the methodology that Dean Radford would have. Oh! His knees were high.
They connected perfectly onto Dean Radford, and that's the high-impact offense you need to take down Dean Radford, as now both Mafia members are in the ring measuring the East Coast Killer. And Radford is trying to fight. And now a tag to Facade. Is Facade recovered enough here? Facade springs off the back, across body, but did not have enough mass to take both men down.
Nowhere near.
Oh! Tornado DDT by the Bomber. One down, one to go, but look at the one that's remaining. And Facade, again, forgot about the 375-pound elephant in the room, Shane Taylor.
Did he say you want to see something crazy? Because that was, turning your back on Shane Taylor might be the definition of crazy.
Signing on for this match may have been a definition of crazy.
Good Lord. Well, you saw the look on Shane Taylor's face. I guess he was surprised that he got the counter off of that. But really, that was Facade.
Radford was looking to fly. We've seen him do it in the past. But Rowe able to cut him off with that hard forearm. What a hit. Rowe looking to fly.
Oh, a big kick to the head.
And that head is the one sometimes weakness of Ray Rowe. Sometimes he can shrug off the pain. Sometimes he can't. He has a history of head injuries, however.
10 minutes gone by. 10 minutes.
Watch Radford. 265, gonna fly with a punch up. And Facade got out of the way last minute. Both Mafia members taken down.
Yeah, once again, when you realize that you are the different one in there, you know the only thing that you're gonna work for, that's gonna work there is you getting squished. Smart move by Facade. In a match where we have seen him miss some smart moves, so to speak.
Well, if anybody in the crowd is smart, they're going to get to stepping really quick, because Ray Rowe and Dean Radford and Shane Taylor are taking this thing to the streets here.
Oh, but look at Facade.
What the hell's Facade doing? What? Wait a second. Oh, my God! Springboard helo. Sean Patrick has signaled for the bell. Facade risking life and limb. Everybody's down. Everybody's hurt. Now what? We have casualties at ringside, and I'm hoping all of our casualties are in this match.
Radford's up to his feet.
Facade is up. I don't know how he's doing it, but Facade is up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee has counted all members outside this ring and rules about a double countout.
I'm not sure about that decision. I was under the impression Facade was the legal man. But
In the ring.
oh no. Rowe has Facade, and look out, they're coming over here. Radford and Taylor right in front of us. But in the ring, it's Rowe and Facade all alone, and I would not want to be alone with Ray Rowe for all the money in the world. But Facade finds himself in that situation with his partner busy with the notorious one, Shane Taylor. And we got to get some kind of control in the ring now.
And what is Ray Rowe doing to Michael Facade?
Oh, no. A curb stomp
Into the bottom turnbuckle.
That's thinly protected steel. Facade just got his bell rung right into that buckle. Rowe didn't get the win, but he still made the statement he set out to make.
He didn't get the win, he got the victory.
Double count out officially, no contest. It got too crazy, but Rowe gets the last word. And whether you're John Bolen or whoever comes out of this night the IWC champion, look out, because Ray Rowe is back on the warpath with the rest of the Cleveland Mafia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall. It has a 30-minute time limit, and it is the #1 contenders match. The winner will receive
Hey, cut this out. Give it up one time.
One of the most outspoken individuals in IWC history. Just when you think you got him off your back, just when you think he's gone for a few months, he comes back more boisterous than ever.
Introducing to you first, from Cleveland, Ohio, weighing at 240 pounds, he is the big daddy of destruction, he is J-Rocc.
And this was a matchup requested in part by John Bolen. We know Bolen has had a lot of problems with men like Rowe Shane Taylor, J-Rocc, over the past several months, of course, most specifically Rowe. But what better way to settle this portion of that rivalry than dangle the carrot of an IWC title matchup coming up this March in Clearfield.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was giving it up one time. There. I would suggest you do the same.
I didn't know that involved so much concentration.
Well, if you want to do it right. I don't give it up half a time.
No.
I don't have. I'm not a 3/4 giver-upper. I gave it up one time. Come on, Joe.
I think I'll pass. I'll be over here.
Cut the music!
Hey, J-Rocc's gonna talk.
Shut your mouth! All of you pay attention, you two day, because you might sign the checks, but you have no idea what is ahead for you, baby. Because take a look around. Look at that screen. #1 contender. Is it going to be J-Rocc or is it going to be John Bolen? You people like John Bolen? Good. Because if you think I'm out here to give him a good fight and get him ready for the championship, you got another thing coming. Take a look around. Ain't nothing here the same. And that goes here too. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one time for the next IWC champion. Give it up one time for J-Rocc.
How many times did we have to give it up in that past 3 minutes?
Well, I did the full 3.
Yeah. I just give up in general when J-Rocc has the mic. But who will give up the opportunity at the championship? Who will fall in this #1 contenders match?
And his opponent is from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, weighs in at 235 pounds, John Bolen.
Bolen can come into this matchup with a clear head. And we're not wasting any time. Bolen knows if there's involvement from Rowe, there will be severe repercussions, career-halting repercussions. And that has been a big-time issue in the past. Rowe and Bolen met last month. There was no decisive winner. There was no conclusion to the rivalry. Thanks in large part to J-Rocc, which makes perfect sense. Bolen want to get through J-Rocc before he gets back at Rowe.
I want to point out, as soon as John Bolen hit the ring, J-Rocc on him and went right for the eyes. Poked him in the eyes, bit him across the bridge of the nose, I think. A smart move. If he can't see it, and there he is biting again. I like this strategy. Let's make sure John Bolen can't see where he's swinging.
Smart strategy, albeit dubious, but just check out what happened a moment ago. J-Rocc dove from the apron onto Bolen. Bolen caught the Big Daddy in mid-air. And J-Rocc is a big guy. He's about 240 or 50. And Bolen, without even being able to see straight, was able to catch J-Rocc.
John Bolen is one of the most intimidating physical.
Look out!
One of the most intimidating physical specimens you'd ever want to see. Wow. Is that the end of the match?
As if Bolen needed the help of a solid steel ramp. He got it there in that exchange, but it was J-Rocc who wanted to take this match up to the outside. It was J-Rocc that thought it would be advantageous to him, but he's finding out otherwise. Bolen can play any game you want to, including on the floor.
Absolutely. I've been out in social. This just gives you an idea of how committed John Bolen is to being the best athlete he can be. I've been out in social situations with him, and you know, you're out. Everyone, you know, might grab a beer, might have a burger, you know, whatever's available. I watched him bring his own turkey and, you know, like cooked ground turkey, spinach, and brown rice all in a bowl. Didn't really look very appetizing or even enjoyable. But, I mean, we're talking about a man who has no problem forgoing the casual enjoyments of life to make sure he is the best physical specimen in the ring possible.
Well, Bolen has trained rigorously for so many years. You can see it in the physique. You can see it in the state of mind, the attitude. It's not just physical. It's mental. It's psychological. And where is Bolen going, for crying out loud?
Good Lord.
What is? Look at that. That's one of our ring attendants. That's one of our ring attendants. I believe that young lady was pulling cord for a ringside cameraman, and J-Rocc, like a coward, just put a young woman in front of him for protection. How callous can you be? Oh, watch Bolen elevate himself with a slingshot to the outside.
Yeah, like a slingshot shoulder block. He landed on his feet.
And that perhaps is the most impressive of all. Bolen with firm control of his body that entire time, and Bolen not going to let J-Rocc hide behind some hapless, innocent ring attendant.
Hold on 1 second, Kenny.
And it looks like J-Rocc's giving it up one time to Bolen.
You want to hear tough or what? Yeah, J-Rocc saying no.
That is about 8 months of pent-up aggression ever since Bolen burst back onto the IWC scene after a lengthy hiatus. He has been targeting the Cleveland Mafia. He's been targeting the Chosen Ones. He's been targeting the hired thugs of Shiima Xion and company.
I've stated in the past, J-Rocc is
Over here in the ring, barely two. J-Rocc, great toughness on his part.
J-Rocc is a cannonball, and the one thing you don't want to be in front of when it's flying in the air is a cannonball. John Bolen, again, caught him out of the air, held him, and then did that toss slam on him. An impressive feat of strength in a match that has already had several impressive feats of strength.
Bolen with a kick low, not sure if it caught the thigh or the glutes or what it may have, but either way, it sends J-Rocc sprawling very awkwardly and dangerously to the outside of the ring. I'm not sure, J-Worth, if Bolen has ever had an opportunity at the IWC Championship.
Not that I recall, to be honest.
And Bolen has been here since pretty much the start of his career, since graduating from Scott D'Amore's TNA Gut Check Academy.
Winner of the Gut Check Challenge.
That's right. That's 4.5 years Bolen has been a part of IWC. Of course, you take away a couple of years for his WWE work down in Florida and Ohio Valley, but that's been so long that he's been inching towards a singles championship and inching towards singles glory. And really, since the start of his career, no singles championship has been held in higher prestige than the IWC title.
Absolutely. That's what brings everyone here tonight.
And it's said a lot elsewhere, and it's cliche, but it's true. If you're not here to be the champion, you don't belong here.
Exactly.
And it's what everybody wants from the main event to the proving ground match and everywhere in between. Everybody wants a shot at that championship.
If you're here and you're thinking, I'm okay with being second best, then you don't belong to be here. You're absolutely right.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
And therein lies the conflict between John Bolen and Ray Rowe. How can you pick a definitive favorite out of those two athletes?
Well, it comes back to motivation. You have to believe J-Rocc has never really been looked at as a singles competitor here. He's either been in tag teams that are successful, or he's been managing people as they head to the title. He wants to show everyone that he is just as good as anyone else here. And so you may as well show that you're as good as one of the best. And that's what John Bolen is.
And J-Rocc can absolutely prove that. He's a 12-year veteran. He has so many accolades under his belt. But when you're matched up with a guy like John Bolen, who's not feeling pain right now, Bolen has shut off the part of his body that feels pain. You know why? Because he wants it that bad. And Bolen begins to explode with the takedowns on J-Rocc. There you see the power, the cover, the leg is hooked. But Bolen left the left shoulder of J-Rocc exposed.
Again, didn't have the weight over his center of gravity. He was able to kick out.
But J-Rocc is reeling right now.
He flew from about the halfway point of the ring there.
Bolen signals for the meltdown after the stinger splash, but J-Rocc was able to see it coming. Oh, wait a second. Shane Taylor has made his way down the ramp. We can get a shot of him at ringside. Shane Taylor is lurking around ringside while Bolen has J-Rocc on a powerbomb. Keep in mind the rule in place for Rowe Farnsworth. Nothing was said about Shane Taylor.
They did not mention the other member of the Cleveland Mafia.
And it looks like they found another loophole at the Cleveland Mafia. And then you see Shane Taylor getting involved and placing J-Rocc's foot on the bottom rope. This match would have been over. Here comes Rowe. Rowe out here. Look out. This is not going to make management happy. Uh-oh. Now, wait a second here. And Bolen is begging Rowe to hit him. You want to talk about a death wish. Is Rowe going to do it? Now what? Oh, wait a second.
Oh, he never laid a hand on John Bolen now, did he?
Oh, no. Don't tell me they got one up on us again. Rowe just deliberately hit his partner.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this bout and the #1 contender as a result of the disqualification, J-Rocc!
Oh, give it up one time, Daddy.
No. Bolen got robbed. No bones about it. And now J-Rocc feels the meltdown. But Rowe skirts around the stipulations, and now the match is over. There's no restrictions. Look out! No! The chair to the skull.
Oh, he bipped him good. Match is over. Might as well back him.
Bolen is the rightful #1 contender here. For all intents and purposes, J-Rocc and Rowe once again manipulating the system. And that man who can't even walk right now, J-Rocc on the outside, that man is your #1 contender. The Cleveland Mafia are abiding by the mandate, but still finding a way to stick it to everybody else in IWC. It's J-Rocc against the champion, but John Bolen more ticked off than ever on his collision course to the Cleveland Mafia.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, right now I'd like to introduce to you our Director of Wrestling Operations for IWC and our special guest referee, Piece of Franchise, Shane Douglas.
The man who infamously threw down the NWA World title. The man who brought ECW's World title to prominence. In addition to Intercontinental, United States and tag team reigns along the way, Shane Douglas' road leads him to IWC.
I just want to start by saying I'm sitting in the back watching the monitor, and I think what happened out here earlier is a bunch of bullshit. We're going to start by saying J-Rocc in Clearfield will get his his shot at whoever is champion after tonight here in IWC. Furthermore, as far as Ray Rowe and John Bolen are concerned, they'll be going one-on-one that night to see which one of those two can come out on top. I'm sick and tired of this stuff going on here in IWC. I know you fans are. So we got two guys that want to wrap it up. We'll get them on the road in Clearfield, find out who the best man is, and J-Rocc will get his title shot there. Now, for the main event, I turn the microphone over to the one and only.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's set for one fall of 45-minute time limit, and it is for the IWC World Heavyweight Championship.
Well, Farnsworth, last week marked my 7-year anniversary in this business.
Introducing to you first, the challenger and the former champion. He hails from the Philippines, weighs in at 215 pounds. He is Shiima Xion.
In those 7 years, anywhere I've been, Pittsburgh, Ohio, Philly, Europe, whatever, I don't know if I've ever called a more intense, emotional, and dramatic match than Shiima Xion and Jimmy DeMarco last month, Call to Arms 2009, in this building. They literally and figuratively killed each other to determine who was best. And I don't like Shiima's attitude, but I respect the hell out of both those athletes for what they went through.
They left everything they had in the ring. Honestly, it could have gone either way. The fact that Jimmy won that was more a matter of timing than talent, because they are both at the top of their game. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a clear-cut advantage. It was just that night.
You know, let's all be honest for just 1 second.
Jimmy was a little better.
What happened last month was a fluke. Jimmy DeMarco, yes, he picked me, but it was with your help. So DeMarco, I hope last night, I hope that you kissed your belt goodbye. I hope you made love to your belt. I hope to God you wiped off all those weird bodily fluids that you may have gotten on it.
I'll be over here.
Because bottom line is, that belt is coming home with me, and there's nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. There damn sure isn't anything that you can do about it.
Those are the two bosses you're talking to, Mr. Shiima. And look out, Jimmy DeMarco from the blind side. And I'll tell you what, this matchup has started here, impromptu. It's Extreme Rules, no disqualification, no countout. There must be a winner, and this match, Farnsworth, will be completely different than their first outing because you have the dynamic of the franchise Shane Douglas involved. Plus, the handcuffs are officially off. They can do anything they want, and this match will not be stopped.
It is Extreme Rules being presided over by the person who brought Extreme, helped bring Extreme to America, Shane Douglas.
That's very true. And Jimmy DeMarco, I'll tell you what, he is a guy that we have seen over the years put his well-being and his health secondary to the IWC in-ring competition, to the IWC Championship, to proving what he is all about, proving the kind of man he is and the kind of athlete he is. And he's proven that 10 times over, especially a month ago. And I'll tell you this, Jimmy DeMarco is not going to back down. And anybody that questions DeMarco's worthiness of holding the championship just has not been paying attention, and that includes Shiima Xion.
Well, you have to believe that whether or not he won the title at our last show, Jimmy DeMarco, as you said, proved that he is a top-tier talent here. He is as good as anyone else that walks through those doors. And I think there's a certain level of attempting to maintain that now that is motivating Jimmy DeMarco. Regardless of the title, he wants to show I've made it to the top, I deserve to be up here, and I continue to deserve to be up here.
Well, let's keep in mind the underlying hostility between these two athletes. They were, oh look out, Shiima got elevated. They were at one time very, very close. they climbed to the top of IWC together. But when
They climbed actually from the bottom of IWC together up to the top.
When Shiima Xion got a little jealous over DeMarco's popularity, a little jealous over the attention DeMarco was receiving, Shiima put that entire friendship in jeopardy. He obliterated it to try to get rid of DeMarco and put a bounty on DeMarco's head. And now DeMarco and his people are taking care of Shiima Xion.
Got a little help from Chester over there.
Who?
Yeah, Chester.
Various fans are helping rearrange some of Shiima Xion's most sensitive of features.
His two veg, so to speak.
Okay.
We won't talk about the meat.
Jimmy DeMarco giving Shiima Xion the tour here around this ring. Fans are holding Shiima, and this is a perfect example of the rapport that Jimmy DeMarco has with these fans. DeMarco sees himself and these fans as equals, as one and the same.
I don't know that I would say that. I mean, it's like comparing yourself to Romper Room or possibly the Special Olympics.
And you gotta love Shane Douglas. He's just hanging back and letting them go at it.
You gotta imagine Shane's probably a little glad that it's not him taking the chair to the head.
I would have to agree with that.
Nice to be an observer to something like this as opposed to, you know, the concussed.
Well, keep in mind some of the violence we saw between these men, with chairs, with the ramp, with the crowd, with everything we saw a month ago. And now they're going to take it to another level. They're going to attempt to settle this once and for all. DeMarco's story of triumph may end prematurely here. It may have a very brief chapter. And you know both of these men are out to severely hurt one another. The animosity is that strong.
Oh.
And DeMarco, I believe
that chair was still around Shima's neck. And I think he ran and jumped off one of the bleachers.
I believe he used the bleacher as a springboard.
Yeah.
And came down onto Shiima Xion, who was wearing that chair in some form or fashion. But Shiima may have gone low to get the advantage back into his favor. And the doors fling open as DeMarco hits with such velocity. But Shiima Xion tried to follow through, but DeMarco was a step ahead. And I have to say, J-Rocc, this is more Jimmy DeMarco environment than it is Shiima Xion.
Yeah, very true. You know how much of these Mongoloid spit is now covering Shiima Xion because of that?
I don't think we need to narrate how Jimmy DeMarco views Shiima Xion after watching that display. Oh, Lord! DeMarco got slammed onto the floor, which, as we've stated numerous times, it is not a padding. It is a covering for the floor.
It is a solid athletic center floor here. And Shane there checking, making sure the match is still continuing.
And check this out, Shane Douglas in a count of fall amongst the crowd here. We really weren't prepared for falls count anywhere in addition to the extreme rules, but it looks like we're going to get it.
Really? I mean, the rule book's out the window.
Hey, the franchise is in charge. He can do whatever he wants.
And Shiima smartly taking things back to the ring, back to his territory, so to speak.
Shiima choking DeMarco on that guardrail. Both these men have had a very unpleasant run-in with that guardrail over the years against one another, and Shiima drives the knees into DeMarco, and DeMarco's chest and throat are driven into that sharp steel guardrail.
Not only does it hurt, it makes it really hard to breathe. And now the longer this match goes, the more it favors Shiima Xion.
Shiima with a missile drop kick as this matchup, a smart move by Shiima to make this back into the ring. Winner will get J-Rocc on March the 6th, but that's got to be the furthest thing from either of these men's minds.
Yeah, because you have to, if you don't get through tonight, March 6th may as well not even exist.
We saw them annihilate each other in the finals of the heavyweight title tournament in late 2008. And notice Shane Douglas here. He wants them to go all out and do whatever they can to solve this issue. But a 5 count on the choking. Shane Douglas is not going to let this matchup end by choking somebody out.
Well, yeah.
We're going to have a decisive winner here.
It's up to the discretion, really, of Shane Douglas what he wants to call on this. He decided what kind of match it was. He didn't really lay out what
and the knees again
rules means, but you have a general idea. So. Oh!
Shiima with a crossface. Submissions count. But will Jimmy DeMarco tap away the title? A bridge here? No. Great counter by DeMarco. And Shiima with a kick right to the head. And the crowd firmly behind Jimmy DeMarco, who really has become such a hero, such a sensation here. His unorthodox ways is really something these fans can relate to and live vicariously through. And as much as DeMarco worked and sacrificed and bled and sweat and paid dues and went through adverse conditions he did not deserve to go through, it could all come to an end after 6 or 7 short weeks if Shiima Xion has anything to say about it.
And right now we know what he's saying, and it's in a much higher pitch.
Well, DeMarco has focused on a body part in this matchup. I'll give you 3 guesses which one.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably that there mommy-daddy button. And really, a smart offense. I wasn't expecting that.
Watch Shiima. Pescado. DeMarco caught him. Look out. Shiima hits the rail. Shiima tried to put the brakes on, but had too much momentum, too much centrifugal force. And watch DeMarco. Ow. The chair to the base of the spine. And there you see once again the personal animosity. DeMarco advertising his strategy, which could be a mistake here. Good God. You never get used to that sound, Farnsworth.
You don't.
10 minutes gone by, 10 minutes.
Although we get to see Jimmy now sitting on the ramp and leading everyone in a round of applause after that.
And there you see, DeMarco felt so personally scorned and betrayed when he found out Shiima Xion was the one trying to take him out of this organization. And once you trust somebody to that degree and that trust is broken, you can never repair that. And those emotional scars will be there for life. And hopefully the physical scars won't, as Shiima Xion is able to once again create an opening. And when it comes to finesse and athleticism, Farnsworth, you got to give the advantage to Shiima here.
Very true.
DeMarco may be the tougher athlete, but Shiima may be the smarter athlete.
Well, we were talking finesse, but Shiima, after getting to the ground, just did a nice straight, I believe, right hand right to the face of Jimmy DeMarco. He's not above scrapping a little bit.
Oh no, we're not after style points here. Absolutely not. We're out to hurt and maim. Frog splash, all the wind rushes out of DeMarco. This could be all no. And you see Shiima, the desperation on his face, wants the match to be over. And there will be no surprises here. There's no secret owners. And there's no one to take out any referees, because Shane Douglas is one bad you-know-what. This matchup will be settled the right way. If there's any doubt about last month, it will be answered right now.
And we got another chair.
And DeMarco is hurt. Shima's body has to be racked with pain as well.
And another chair? Are there 2 in the ring?
Well, anytime chairs are involved, and especially when they're folded out like that, it's usually bad news for Jimmy DeMarco. Oh, come on. A kick to the head again. Now, we saw this in one of the many humps DeMarco had to unfairly work through to get to this opportunity. We saw Necro Butcher drop DeMarco small at the back first, but thank God DeMarco counters it. No human being should have to go through that twice, let alone once, and Shiima tastes it this time. And Shiima Xion's spine may have cracked.
And do you see how much damage that did to the chairs? Not a bit. That was all Shiima's spine wrapping around that steel. Oh!
And the Shiima elevated. The whiplash, the snap of the neck, the snap of the bat. DeMarco has a near fall.
Almost a running crucifix bomb into the corner.
But it was not enough. The pride, the spirit, the will to not only be the champion, but to be the better man in this personal rivalry is willing both men on. And Shiima gets dropped. The suplex, the float over, a DeMarco specialty. Gonna hang on here a second time. Is this gonna be all? Near fall. The falls are getting nearer as Shiima's body begins to wear down further.
Very, very true. And Jimmy will not let the fans rest on this one. He wants them behind him.
Wait, C4 coming up. It took 3 or 4 of those to finish off Shiima Xion a month ago at a call to arms. What will the fate be tonight? Shiima counters, however. Super kick to the side of the jaw. Lost to dust. It's done in so many opponents, but DeMarco is not one of them.
I think Jimmy tried to take advantage of the momentum and try and roll through, but Shiima
Second cover, done no.
sort of corrected and dropped him on the side of his head with his neck compressed. Things are not looking good for Jimmy DeMarco right now.
Not at all.
Oh! And a good punt to the side of the head.
And we all know that DeMarco has taken a lot of shots to the head in his career. We all know that he can't have the best possible health up there.
And what's in the bag?
Well,
I've never seen anything good in a bag.
no, not in this environment, no. And you can hear the metal clang, and you can see DeMarco's reaction, and that can only tell me that it is thumbtacks. Thousands upon thousands of shots.
Look at the look on the face of Shane Douglas.
Hey, Shane Douglas has been through a lot. But I don't know if Shane Douglas has even done thumbtacks. Oh, no. No! Lost to dust. He would have chopped him head first into the tacks.
And Jimmy's blocking it.
Thank God he's blocking it. And I apologize for being a tad biased here. Oh, no. Shiima trying to drive DeMarco's face.
And his hands are down at him. Oh, he throws them up into his face.
DeMarco shot to the breadbasket. No, oh, no. This is more dangerous than I'd like it to be. Two great young athletes here in a lot of danger.
This can't end well for either of them.
I don't like whatever the result is. I don't think I'm going to like it at all. DeMarco creates some distance from the tacks. If I were the franchise, I know it's Extreme Rules, but I would think about sweeping those tacks out of that ring. Shiima gets tripped up. And DeMarco exposes the bare back of Shiima Xion.
They're on an even playing field with these tacks now.
Oh no, not a superplex. Those tacks are literally all over the ring. Both men will fear it. Oh! God! Please let this be it. Shane Douglas doesn't even want to slap the mat to get to the tacks, and I don't blame him.
And Shiima kicked out. Oh, you can see the tacks hanging out of his back.
Digging into the flesh of Shiima Xion. I believe DeMarco has a couple as well. Now he, oh no. No, see, no! The counter! DeMarco hits the tacks.
It looks like he slipped there. Shiima pushed him off and he slipped and just back bumped right.
Oh, no. Jimmy DeMarco got dropped head first.
Sort of a crystal pistol into the tacks. Not good. He stomped his head down into the tacks.
Just imagine if one of those tacks went into his eye. Imagine if he swallows one. There's the tacks. They're literally sticking out of the head of Jimmy DeMarco right now.
He has that chair in the corner.
This is
Oh!
This is tough to watch once again, and I know Jimmy DeMarco will never quit. He will never second guess this. He will have no regrets. But the bottom line is that Shiima Xion...
Is Shiima shoving the tacks in his mouth?
Either that or right in the head, I'm not sure.
And then a super kick to the mouth.
Oh my God.
This has gone from brutal to just downright sadistic.
Hurricane Rana, and DeMarco again lands in the tax. There is no place in that ring that is safe anymore. Does this with a count and a near fall.
I don't know that this is the best course of action right now. Your opponent's right behind you.
Oh no. Not to mention the director of operations right in his face. The roll up by DeMarco here. Shiima trapped. And notice Shiima landed in the tax again when he was rolled up. But back to the crossface.
An inversion of the crossface with the legs trapping the arm. A bit higher up.
Well, that doesn't count as a tap out, but it is DeMarco's hand driven into the thumbtack.
It is.
And now his head. This is sadistic. It's vile. It's animalistic.
It shows just how much Shiima wants that belt back.
And these men were once very close friends, practically best friends. And Shiima hits the chair. DeMarco didn't have a lot of torque on it, but he broke the hold, which is what he needed to accomplish out of it. Oh, look out. C4! Oh, Shima's head and neck snapped. It snapped. It may be broken. DeMarco wins.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and still the IWC World Heavyweight Champion, Jimmy DeMarco.
Shiima Xion, head and neck, snapped violently off of that chair. DeMarco got the cover. Shane Douglas, director of operations, with the pin. And Jimmy DeMarco, somehow, the unlikely success story continues on. Jimmy DeMarco is still the man, and he still has proven no one deserves it more.
You want to know just how much Jimmy wanted to hold on to the title. I think this is a pretty good testament to it right here. Chairs, thumbtacks, these idiot fans. Jimmy DeMarco survived all of them and is still our IWC champion. Whether or not it was a fluke he won it, he showed he deserves the title.
I don't think it's a fluke. I don't think anybody here could say it's a fluke. 5 years of busting his ass and literally shortening his career, shortening his life, shortening his health for the good of this business, this company, and for his own career. DeMarco gets the adulation. DeMarco deserves 1,000 celebrations like this, like last month. It's only proper. DeMarco is the champion, the hardest working man in this company, and that's not a slight on a great roster we have. That's just the truth, in my opinion. Farnsworth, what do you think of this kickoff tonight, huh?
I think it shows great promise for IWC in the future. I think we're only going up from here.
The genesis of the new era IWC has only begun. New things are unfolding. New stars are developing. But at the top of the mountain, we have a champion we can be proud of. He's not very PR friendly. He's not very couth. But he is Jimmy DeMarco, and he is our champion into the new era IWC. We'll see you next time on IWC, and thank you so much for being a part of the journey continuing.
If you like that, how about all you come March 6th to Clearfield to see me beat the living shit out of that homo J-Rocc. And I wish I had a title belt tonight, but Chuck Roberts accidentally left it under his boyfriend's bed. But I'll have the title in Clearfield, and I'm gonna make J-Rocc suck my muscles, just like it's been dreaming about doing tonight. Now hit my music, Ava.